In today's video, we will see a kitten taking its first driving lesson. But this is not your usual driving lesson because the teacher is the mama cat of this little one. This will be an adventure for the kitten. And it will also be quite hilarious to watch because cats are known to do the most unexpected things. Let's get started. Number 10. Ready, set, go. We can see the black cat here getting ready for his first driving lesson. He gets into the car and looks at his mom sitting right beside him. The mom cat looks very serious as she prepares to teach her little one how to drive. You can tell that she has been practicing for this moment for quite some time now. She must have taught her babies all about being on the road when they were still at home. The little guy doesn't seem too sure about the whole thing, though. After all, he is just a little kitten, and it will take some time before he is able to master driving. Still, he's very excited to give it a try. And let's be honest, the look on his face is priceless. 9. Keeping your eyes on the road. While driving, it is very important to keep your eyes on the road ahead of you at all times. Of course, this can be difficult sometimes, especially if there are other cars around you. But you should always try to concentrate so that nothing bad happens while you are behind the wheel. However, this is not something that the mom cat has taught her kitten yet. In this video, we can see the little one looking around at everything except the road. It seems like he's trying to find something interesting to look at, but what could that possibly be? Cats can be very curious animals, so it's not hard to believe that this is what he's doing. Hopefully he will learn soon enough that looking at the road is the most important thing when driving. 8. Looking cool behind the wheel. Most people like to look cool when they are behind the wheel, and it seems like this kitten is no different. He wants to look cool in front of his mom, but he isn't quite sure how to do it. Perhaps he thinks that revving the engine will make him look more impressive, or maybe he believes that driving fast will show off his skills. Whatever the reason, this little guy is definitely trying his best to impress his mama cat. It is adorable to see such a young kitten thinking he has all grown up and ready to take on the world. But it's important for him to remember that safety should always come first when driving. Even though this is just a playful scene between a mother and a kitten, it's still fun to imagine them going on adventures together in their very own car. Just as long as they're careful and responsible drivers, they'll be sure to have many happy memories in their vehicle. 7. A little push in the right direction. Sometimes, when you are learning to drive, you need a little help from someone else. This is especially true if you are a clumsy person like this little kitten. As he tries to steer the car, he accidentally crashes into the wall. Luckily, his mom is there to help him out, and she gives him a little push in the right direction. No one is born knowing how to drive, and this includes cats. Kittens need to learn from their mothers just like humans do. If you think about it, cats are pretty good drivers. They can parallel park like nobody's business, and they always seem to know how to avoid traffic. Maybe there is something to be said for having 4 wheels instead of 2. At least this little guy is trying his best, and that's what matters the most. With a little bit of practice, he will be a pro in no time. 6. Honk, honk, beep, beep. This is a very important lesson for the kitten to learn. If you want to honk the horn, you need to press down on it firmly. Otherwise, it won't make any noise. It may seem simple enough, but it can be quite tricky for a small kitten to understand. After all, they haven't had much experience with cars before. That is why the mama cat is there to guide him and make sure he understands the concept of pressing down on the horn. Once he learns how to do it properly, he will be able to use it whenever he needs to warn other cars of his presence on the road. Learning to drive is an important part of growing up for any young animal. And this little guy is no exception. With his mom by his side, he is sure to succeed in becoming a great driver one day. Just remember to stay focused and keep practicing. 5. Keep calm and carry on. When driving, it is very important to stay calm and focused on the road ahead of you. Accidents can happen in an instant if you get distracted or stressed out. That's why this little kitten needs to learn how to keep his cool while operating a motor vehicle. Of course! This can be easier said than done. After all, he is just a kitten. And it takes a lot of concentration to drive safely. But with the help of his mama cat, he will be able to learn how to stay calm behind the wheel. She knows exactly what it takes to be a good driver. and she's more than happy to share her knowledge with her little one. Hopefully, he will be able to take these lessons to heart and apply them when he is driving on his own. After all, he wants to be a safe and responsible driver just like his mom. For hanging out the window while driving is never a good idea. Not only is it dangerous, but it's also very distracting. It is hard to focus on the road when you have your head out the window trying to enjoy the breeze. That is why this little kitten needs to learn that this is not an appropriate behavior when he is behind the wheel. Of course, he is just a curious kitten. And he probably doesn't understand why his mom is telling him to stop hanging out the window. But it's important for him to listen to her and learn these rules of the road. Otherwise, he could end up in a dangerous situation one day. With a little patience and understanding, this little guy will eventually understand why hanging out the window while driving is not a good idea. Until then, his mom will have to keep reminding him to keep his head and paws inside the car. 3. Going for a spin. It's time for the little guy to go for a spin. He has been practicing his driving skills for quite some time now, and it is finally the time to put them to the test. Of course, he's a little nervous about it, but his mom is there to support him and give him a little push in the right direction. She knows that he is capable of doing great, and she believes in him even if he does unbelieve in himself. As he starts up the engine and puts the car in motion, a big smile spreads across his face. This is so much fun. He feels like he's on top of the world as he cruises down the street. The wind blowing through his fur makes him feel alive and full of energy. It's a beautiful day to be alive. And he is grateful for the opportunity to experience it in such an exciting way. With his mom by his side, he knows that he can do anything. 2. Taking a break. Every once in a while, it's important to take a break from driving. Even the best drivers need to take a breather every now and then. That's why this little guy decides to pull over and stretch his legs. He's been driving for hours, and he could use a little relaxation. As he steps out of the car, he looks around to see if there's anything interesting to explore. There is a field full of flowers nearby, and Kitten resists the urge to take a closer look. His mom watches him with amusement and decides to join him on his little adventure. She knows that exploring the world is an important part of growing up, and she wants to support her kitten in any way she can. They spend a few happy moments playing in the field before getting back into the car and continuing on their journey. Number 1. A bird's eye view. Being on the road can be an exciting experience, but it's important to remember to stay focused on the task at hand. Even a quick glance away from the road can lead to disaster. That's why this little guy, Mom is always reminding him to keep his eyes on the prize. However, it's not always easy to do. There are so many distractions around every corner, and it is hard to resist the temptation to take a peek. But he knows that his mom is right. He can't afford to get distracted if he wants to be a good driver. So he takes a deep breath, focuses his eyes on the road ahead, and carries on driving. Thanks for watching. Tell us in the comments section what you thought about the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Subscribe for more daily videos.